It is Memorial Day weekend. We are celebrating, and Sunny got her first pool, and Joey and I just wanted to start out this video first by saying thank you to all the men and women who serve our country to allow freedoms that we certainly don't take for granted. So thank y'all for your service. And a little bit about Joey was he was actually in the Coast Guard for 8 years and served the country in that way. So I'm very proud of you for that, love. But anyway, we have to go back a little bit in time. We have this amazing footage from Florence, Italy from almost over a month ago. You guys have seen how busy life has been and we've been on the road a lot, but we have this incredible trip and we wanted to kind of recap it for you and explain why we were there. And just from a personal standpoint, two things that I really care a lot about and that I hope to pass down to Sunny are travel, like the freedom to travel, and also art. Art history was one of my favorite, actually it was my favorite subject in college. I still have my art history book. It's completely scrambled and I studied every single page and highlighted everything, and there's pages that fell out and I stuck them back in. And so art history is a really big, it's an important thing to me. And when I traveled in college, I actually went to Florence. That was the first time I had gone to Florence, and the art and architecture there is magical and stunning. And we were actually invited by Promo Firenze and the Chamber of Commerce of Florence to attend their 83rd annual international MIDA. It's an artisan fair. They have artisans from all around the world come and show their handicrafts. And y'all know this is like my heaven. I really, really appreciate handcrafted things. I basically wanted to show you a few highlights from the show. There was a whole lot there, but one of my favorite things was this dress that this lady made. Her name was Veronica, and she was hand dyeing textiles out of leaves, ferns, orange seeds, wood chips. It was amazing. So we just watched how she made these textiles out of natural dyes using iron, leaves of different sorts. I'm wearing one of the dresses that this amazing artisan here in the Tuscany region made. It's a fern. She uses all natural materials to dye this. So I'm going home with this dress. It's a little big. So the beauty in handmade clothing is that she's going to tailor it tonight, and I'll come back and pick it up tomorrow. It's 150 euros, so it's a little bit expensive in terms of fashion, but it's totally worth it because I know the person that made it. I know how it was made. I watched her make the fabric. It's naturally made. I love this, y'all. I would rather buy one dress like this than multiple at a store that was made in a Chinese factory. This is ethical design. I love it. This is why we're here. I just love, I love the concept of ethical design. We've talked about that before. River wants a drink of water. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Is he okay? So we've talked about ethical design here on the channel before, but I really appreciate things that are handmade, and I'm willing to pay more for something like this dress. I'd rather do that than buy several outfits that I don't know how they were made or who made them or if they were treated fairly. And so that's something I really hope to pass down to Sunny, is the appreciation for handcrafted things. We also saw someone making paper, which was really fascinating. I've never seen anybody hand make paper before.
These movements in two directions are for forming the paper. When I finish my job, I can put out the decal. And now I must put the paper on a felt, but I can't touch the paper now because inside there is about 95% of water. If I touch, I ruin it. Then I must make this operation. With a little pressure, I put the paper on a felt. In this way, I can dry the paper by air, many hours. For this kind of paper, it needs about 3 days for complete drying. Or I can put paper, felt, and press. With this operation, I can put out about 50% of water. After, I can touch the paper, put out from the felt, and dry completely with the electrical hot machine. This is the handmade paper making from Fabriano. We are proud to present you the school where you can learn about all the various jobs of handmade paper making.
We also saw someone gold leafing a piece of furniture. So just imagine this, the next time you go into a church or a cathedral and you look up at the ceiling, can you imagine how much time it took to do that? So to me, these things are just about appreciation and the art of the beauty of art and something handmade. I just look at the cathedrals and I wonder, like, how many months or years did it take to make this so that we can appreciate it centuries later? And I found myself like completely, it's therapeutic to watch someone making something. You just kind of get dazed, and it's almost like when you go to paint something, if you're an artist and you're listening, like, you know what I'm talking about. You go into this zone and it's therapeutic. It's very good for our soul. Sunny. It's good for our soul to make things. So I just loved watching the artisans. We saw ladies who were rolling cigars and learned that actually the cigar industry was one of the first places that women could work in Italy, which I thought was fascinating and empowering, and it was cool to see that aspect and perspective. Then we stumbled into this family that makes Murano glass. Now, I have been to Venice before, and I've seen the Murano glass everywhere, and so I love that these two young brothers there were honoring their legacy of their family history. Behind me is a maker of Murano glass. Now, his family has been making items with Murano glass for 92 years, since 1927. The reason Murano glass is important, the reason it is so popular is because it's very authentic to, and it's made on the island of Murano in Italy, which is near the region of Venice. Why is it special? It's mostly because of the history of these glass makers. It's hand blown, it's all about quality, and they're just known for this in that region. Now, one of the things that the region of Veneto has put into place to protect the craftsmen from fraudulent glass is this little handy dandy sticker. Now, this has a barcode, and you can download original Murano glass. There's an app that you can scan. Next time you're shopping, they do sell Murano glass all over the world, but next time you're shopping, if you're looking for a real piece of Murano glass, be sure it has this barcode. Scan that on your phone and make sure. It'll tell you that it was in fact made on the island of Murano. All of these artisans go through an application process, and I love this because it's actually protecting the artisan and the craft, and it's protecting the history and the heritage of families like this gentleman behind me. And totally random, Joey and I got so sidetracked by this exhibition of vintage bicycles. They were so cool. They had all these really cool little, like fun, kind of gimmicky, but honestly it was like, to me, I saw these bicycles and were like, this is kind of like the first entrepreneurs, like their mode of transportation. We're walking the booths, but we have to stop and show you this. Y'all know I love all things vintage, especially vintage modes of transportation. Check out these bicycles behind me. They're from the early 20th century, and I love, like, this is a bicycle for a fireman. So he has this integrated fire hose. This is, I think, like a food vendor. There's pecans and candy, and I love the entrepreneurial spirit of the European, this is a photographer. So he has this camera on the back of his bicycle. He can shoot on the go anywhere. There's a couple more, we have to check these out. This is a cobbler, a bicycle for a cobbler, early 20th century. I love how he has his little stools put, on there, shoe molds. It's just so beautiful. An umbrella in case it starts raining. I love the European entrepreneurial spirit. This is like authentic, y'all. A seamstress with her sewing machine on the back of her bicycle. She could, and we think food trailers are so unique and cool. This is like the original industrial design behind that idea and that spirit. And this is the last one. It's a barber shop on wheels. How cool is this, y'all? He has this little like wash for, the water basin, barbershop stool. So cool. I love it. I wish I could take all these home with me. This was just too cool to not show you. It's just fun. I love the industrial design and the entrepreneurial spirit behind what this is. I mean, this is so unique, and I love the ingenuity. So Europe just has this amazing charm. There it is, a little touch of vintage for this Wednesday. Right before the day was over, we stumbled into the basement, and the basement was, I swear I died and went to heaven.
When you lose Kim, it's not easy to find her at a trade show.
So yesterday, at the very end of the show, we found the basement. And the basement, y'all, is crazy. I feel like I stepped into this market from around the world. There are literally people here from Nepal, Tanzania, Madagascar, India, Senegal, Ghana. I found the girls at Ghana. Totally made friends with them. I mean, everywhere you can imagine, there are people here, vendors from around the world, making things. It's so magical. All we really need to make it the most pure experience ever is sand on the floor and a camel to like hold my bags.
So offerta adesso. Ecco, ha visto? What's your name anyway?
Joey.
Joey. Do you want your name in Arabic or in
No.
English? It's only €2 with your name if you wanna. It's not expensive, it's free for you. From Picasso from Tunisia, you can have it if you want it. Joey.
Joey.
Okay, that is Joey in Arabic. Do it.
Do it.
Yes.
Okay, you can have it if you wanna. Joey, you can have it. Okay, you are lucky man that you got a lovely pretty plate from Alfredo, from the Picasso from Tunisia. That is me. All right?
Okay.
Joey, okay, you can have it if you wanna. Internazionale, hai visto? Troppo bello. Grazie.
So good. On our third day in Florence, we went to the leather market, and I was... Oh, she wants watermelon. I was overly optimistic, thinking I was going to go to this market and learn everything there is to know about leather. I have designed leather bags before and sold them online, and the truth is, the leather market was cool, but it could, might consider it touristy. And then the other thing, the challenge was really, as you're talking to the vendors, you don't necessarily know exactly where their leather came from. It's hard to trace some of the vendors. And so I was hoping to learn more about the tanning process and the different types of skins and everything, but I did walk away with a very cool brown leather jacket. That was my goal there. But I was hoping to be able to educate you and inform you guys more about leather and what to look for. But honestly, it would take days, if not years, to learn everything I was kind of hoping to learn in one market day. So on our last day, we actually went to the birthplace of Leonardo da Vinci. And this was the town of Vinci, which it's not named after his family, as you might think. It was two different names, his family name and the city name. But what I did not know, I've never studied that much about Da Vinci's birthplace or his growing up, like how he was raised or anything. I've studied, obviously, his works of art, and he's, such a legacy. But Da Vinci was born into an illegitimate family, and his mother and father were not married. And so in that day and age, that was not acceptable. And so his grandfather actually protected him, took him up to a house and raised him so that he would be protected. And then he ended up really getting the city to fall in love with this little boy so that they would have his support. And he got baptized, and it was just so cool. We walked into the area where he was baptized into the church, and what a beautiful reminder. This is what my point of this story is. What a beautiful reminder that children are important no matter where they come from, no matter what their family history is. Even if they are quote unquote abandoned, they are so important, and you don't know who you could be raising. Leonardo da Vinci was essentially an abandoned child, and so what a beautiful testimony to children and just how important they are. Every single child is important. So I need to wrap this up because Sunny is hungry and getting tired. She wants watermelon. River, we need to feed the dog. We need to start dinner. Joey and I do this, just the two of us. We don't have a crew or anything. So, but with the footage from Florence, I hope you feel inspired. I hope the next time you buy something, you look at the label, consider who made it, consider where it was from. Even at the grocery store yesterday, instead of buying 7th generation laundry detergent, I bought Love Home and Planet, something, it's brand new, but it was ethically sourced lavender. It was $1 more. So just look for labels of ethically sourced things, and consider artisans, because these people have been passing down for generations their skill sets. And so Florence, we just want to say thank you for inviting us. Promo Firenze, Florence Chamber of Commerce, we had such a lovely time, and walked away with some really cool relationships that will help me in future projects, especially with the Purpose Hotel. And we were certainly inspired, as I was in college with By Your City. It's just magical. So I'd love for you to follow me along at Kim Lewis Designs on Instagram, and please hit that subscribe button so we can keep these coming every week. And ciao for now.